currently living in Navi Mumbai. He is a trustee in Bhaktivedanta College, Radheshas and Alfred Ford School of Management, Belgium. Prabhuji is responsible for collecting annual reports from all the ISKCON temples, preaching centers, namhatas, and process and maintain the database. This service is under the purview of governing bodies Council of ISKCON. He is director of North America Institute of Oriental and Classical Studies, Tennessee. He frequently organizes programs and preach to young children and youths in Mumbai. Prabhuji has a master's degree in software systems from Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, and Bachelor of Engineering, Electronics and Instrumentation from Anna University, Chennai. He also done LLB from Mumbai University. Prabhuji, if I made any mistake while giving your introduction, please forgive me and also correct. Let's welcome Prabhuji by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now I am requesting Prabhuji to take over the call and provide us the nectar of today's topic to all of us. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, and it's always a pleasure to be in the Assembly of Vaishnavas to speak on the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm very happy to know that Parthasarathi Foundation, which began its service during the COVID time, is still continuing the Bhagavata Seva, which is very, very important. And thanks to COVID in that sense to have created this opportunity for us to virtually meet but churn the Krishna Katha. Thanks, Harlila Prabhu, for considering me in this service. So we are going to continue the discussion in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is observing the armies, which is actually an introduction to the entire Bhagavad Gita, as well as it's setting the scene. So today, the verse number 23 to 31, it will be about Arjuna's state of mind when Krishna is taking him to the side of opponents, because Arjuna is asking Krishna to take him closer to the observing armies and to see who are all there. I mean, we know who are all there, but knowing and seeing, there are two different experiences. So he wanted to see in person close by, and Krishna is taking him there, and what Arjuna is feeling. And we are going to learn some lessons through the current context. And the title has been given as Krishna as Bhakta Vatsala. So we will touch base on that part also, along the context of discussing this. Do you all you all read all the verse and translations, or it is left to the speakers to do the way they want to do? How does it work?
Prabhuji, you can do it. We can do by the in mute system, Prabhuji, or whatever you like. If you want to choose anyone, so you can take it and they can read it, and then you can explain whatever you like, Prabhuji.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So basically, Bhagavad Gita, Kinchita Jita Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita Sakritapi Ena Murari Samarja Kriyate Tasya Yamena Charcha. So this particular service of churning Bhagavad Gita, any portion of Bhagavad Gita, any context, anywhere where we are going to touch base, it is nectar. So we will see this nectar from today's context. We are going to see 4 sets of lessons from this 9 verses. Shloka number 23 to 31. We are going to learn 4 sets of verses, and we will read some purports and also some references. I'm sure that you all will also do your own individual reading too. So, number 1 is about understanding the Arjuna's state of mind. What happened was that when Dhritarashtra inquired Sanjaya, and Sanjaya is explaining about the scene to Dhritarashtra, Dhritarashtra is already in the back of his mind desiring for his son's victory. And Dhritarashtra is already desiring that, somehow he will be a proud father, even though he know that his sons are naughty and notorious and rascals. So the point is that most of the time we are overconfident and we are extra ambitious and sometimes unrealistic in our expectation. So when we actually faced with the reality check, that's when we have so many thoughts running through our head. Even in our own personal lives, many times we are very unrealistic, overconfident, and always want something good for us without realizing, are we really qualified? So Bhagavad Gita helps us to do the reality check. So the first very context of Bhagavad Gita where Arjuna's reality check was done was between these verses 23 to 31. Because everybody knew Mahabharata was coming our way. Everybody knew that, Krishna is insisting on a war, and Arjuna knew that he is going to get into the war. Everything happened. Everybody dressed up, came there, but the real reality check of how much I am prepared, how much, I am keen to do this was checked here. And different people do different things when their reality checks are done. Some people become very angry, some people become very upset, some people become very morose, some people become very intellectual, some people become very introspective. And the most intelligent, humble ones seek the shelter of superiors who can guide them correctly in such circumstances. So it is extremely important for us to know that in the journey of Krishna consciousness, we not only get the reality check, we also take proper corrective action when we are, exposed about our reality, who we are. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj used this example of blue jackal. Sometimes we are trying to show off as if we are some great people, but at the end, when we are exposed, that's when we need to better handle ourselves. So with that context, we will get into the translation of these 9 shlokas just to set the context. I'll read the shloka and translation so that we have done the reading part of it, so that Bhagavad Gita abhyas bhi ho jaye, and we will then chant the context. Yotsyamanam aveksheham yayetetra samagatam dharataratrayas durbuddher yuddhe priya chikirshavam. Translation. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Text 24. Sanjaya vacha evam yukto hrishikesho gudakeshena bharata senayor madhye stapayatva rahottamam. Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both the parties. Text 25. Bhishma Drona Pramuktaha Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kuruniti. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Text 26. Tatra pasyastitan Partha Pitranata Pitamahan Acharyan Matulan Bratran Putran Pautran Sakim Stata Swasuran Suradas Senayorubayarapi. There, Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both the parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. Text 27. Tan samiksha sa kaunteya sarvan bandhun avastitan kripaya paraya vishto vishidan idam abravit. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. Text 28. Arjuna vacha drishtve swajam Krishna yutsum samupashtitam sidanti mama gatrani mukam cha parishusyati. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Text 29. Pepatuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate gandivam shramastate hastat tvakchaiva paridahyate. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, and my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Text 30. Nacha shaknom yavastatum brahmati vacha me mana nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Kesi demon. Text 31. Nacha shreyo no pashyami hatva sajanam mahave nakangshe vijayam Krishna nacharajyam sukhani cha. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. So these are all the 9 verses of today, and we will churn them through 4 reflections based on the introduction that we just had. So first reflection is about Arjuna's 5 reasons why he doesn't want to fight. Because Arjuna, how much ever great warrior, how much ever powerful, victorious, blessed he may be, at that instance, when he was put in front of his own teacher, in front of his own family men, he completely got lost to an extent that his own Gandiva was slipping off his hand, his skin was burning, he was shivering, he was feeling completely lost. So, there are 5 reasons why Arjuna doesn't want to fight. Number 1 is about the feeling of compassion. Arjuna was very, very compassionate, and he was feeling very concerned because he had, in spite of all the treatment, all the ways his cousins have dealt with him, he still was compassionate towards them, plus his respect for his family members, elders, that checked him. Like, how am I going to fight? He knew it before he's going to face them. But now when he's facing them, his heart was overwhelmed with compassion. The second reason that Arjuna is saying is about, even after I win, supposedly we win the war. So will I be able to be happy without them? Even if I win, my hands will be blood-stained. I won't be able to enjoy the kingdom. When I see so many widows, when I see my own cousin's wife being a widow, whom I'm going to share this joy with? Will I be, in spite of being victorious, even if I am, will I be, able to remain happy? And third, he has this fear of sinful reactions. I do not know from which corner of his head he developed this, but he developed this feeling. Maybe he thought that as a disciple, I should serve my spiritual master. I should serve my guru. I should respect, I should worship my elders, but I am fighting them. So he had this fear of sinful activity, that what if sins will overpower? Because at that time, Arjuna is afflicted with a kind of disease, which he is going to confess in the second chapter, shloka number 7. Karpanya dosha pagada swabhava prichamitvam dharma sammuda cheta yasreyasya nischitam bruhitan me sishyasteham sati mam tvam prapannam. So the beginning of that confession started from verse number 23, 24 of first chapter. He is starting to blabber. He is starting to get confused. He is starting to get his reality check. And eventually he is going to conclude saying that I am lost. I am completely, clueless. Now I have to take some external help. I cannot operate based on my own intelligence. So my dear Krishna, please accept me as your disciple. So at that time, Krishna will actually going to clarify what will be sin and what is dharma. What currently, before even, taking Krishna's instruction, with limited intelligence or whatever state of mind that he is in, he's thinking that because of this war, he will be accumulating sinful results to himself. And the fourth reason he is not wanting to fight is because of the destruction of dynasty. So he says that the whole dynasty will be collapsed. Definitely they are not a small family. They are a very very famous lineage. So he was afraid of his dynasty going to be completely destructed. And last but not least, he was indecisive. Because on one side, he know the mistakes, offenses, sinful activities done by his cousins and how they were completely arrogant towards the Pandavas. And Arjuna also knew how that they deserve some respect, and because of being a Kshatriya, they at least need their own recognition. And especially Krishna's insistence of needing to re-establish Dharma. So he had that understanding for sure. But now the current state of mind, he was put into an indecisive state. So my first reflection is about these 5 reasons, or the reasons why Arjuna was denying Arjuna was hesitating to, fight. Go ahead with the war field. So go ahead with the war, because naturally these five are logical and genuine points. But what happens is, when we understand the higher dimensional principles, so it is like someone is concerned about human rights violation of a terrorist. Human rights is definitely important to be given. Everybody should be given this rights for their freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of practice, everything. But those human rights, morality is not applicable on criminals, is not applicable on terrorists, it is not applicable. I mean, it is applicable, but not beyond a capacity. They are supposed to be punished. Okay, when they are under the punishment regime, when they are under the imprisoned state, they have to be treated in a specific way. But not even treat them, not even handle the criminal, not even to face them is a little too much. Which is what Krishna is going to eventually clarify. So Krishna is going to say that you are speaking like a learned man, but actually what your arguments are foolish. Asosyanan vachos sattvam prajnavadamscha bhashase katasuna katasumscha nanuchoshandi pandita. So he's going to say that you're speaking like a learned person, but actually you're speaking foolish. So hence the first reflection is very important, that sometimes, we may not know to reason why I am confused. At least these reasonings are good enough to establish Arjuna's state of mind, which eventually triggers the entire Bhagavad Gita to commence. This is my first reflection. The second reflection is about a very interesting, part, shloka number 24, in which Arjuna is addressing Krishna, Sanjaya is addressing Krishna as Guda Kesha. Sanjaya is addressing Arjuna as Guda Kesha. I'll just read the portion of the purport and want to use this for the second reflection. 1.24 purport. In this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep, and one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. Sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment. But that is the nature of a devotee. Either in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or Samadhi. As Hrishikesha, or the director of the senses and mind of every living entity, Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. Thus, he did so and spoke as follows. So, Sanjaya using the word Gudakesha is very interesting and significant. As I was mentioning, Dhritarashtra was overconfident. Dhritarashtra was highly hopeful. Dhritarashtra was really hoping some miracle will happen and his sons would win, even though internally he knew. So Sanjaya is using every opportunity to gently communicate, to subtly communicate a message. That is why it is important when we read Vedic scriptures, we learn not to just read the information, we learn to read the emotions also. That is why Prabhupada says we need to read the Vedic scriptures scrutinizingly. We have to learn to read between lines. We have to learn things behind the lines. The reason Sanjaya is using the word Gutakesha means one who has won over ignorance, slumber, is to communicate to Dhritarashtra that these guys are not some ordinary people. They know very clearly because they are at the side of Dharma. They are going to win. They are having very powerful position, strong position. And your sons, right from the first verse, Sanjaya is communicating. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsava. There itself he has communicated. This is Dharma kshetra. Only Dharma is going to win here. What are you talking about? What are you expecting here, my dear sir? So my second reflection is about 2 points. Number one, that how Arjuna, by the virtue of him taking the side of Krishna itself, he has won over ignorance. And even though he is temporarily blabbering, temporarily he is disturbed the state of mind, because he is in the right side, he will be protected. This is not only the instance, there are several instances in Bhagavatam where we will learn this. When demigods were in trouble, this is just before the Samudra Manthan happened. When demigods were in trouble, when Indra lost the kingdom, when they were in the middle of the streets, when they were thrown out, they took shelter of the Supreme Lord with the help of Brahma, and the Lord supported. The reason demigods are special, because demigods always take the side of the Lord. Demigods do make mistakes. Demigods do, have their own, slippage. But they never take the side opposite to Krishna, opposite to the Supreme Lord. A demon, how much ever challenges, defeat a demon faces, he is arrogant enough to say that I will do, it will be for my pleasure. So the point number one of the second reflection is to say that it is important for us to acknowledge the fact that even though apparently Arjuna may be perplexed, confused, quivering, shivering, skin burning, afraid, whatever that is, please note, he is on the side of Krishna. And when he is the side of Krishna, naturally he is Gudakesha. Anyone who is the Krishna's side is the side of Dharma. Dharmo rakshati rakshita. So Dharma will protect. But on the other side, you may be 100 warriors, several people, but you may not be saved. There is a very interesting context in Mahabharata. One time, Yudhishthira Maharaj and Duryodhana, they both were meeting Dronacharya. So this was the last day of their program of studies in their college. So Dronacharya said, my dear students, I'm very happy that you have learned, your course is over. So now please offer your Guru Dakshina. So both of them said, Gurudev, we are so pleased with you. We are so happy. Please ask, what do you want? We are ready to offer you. So Dronacharya turned towards Duryodhana and said, somehow please get me one guy, one soul who you think is better than you. And he turned towards Yudhishthira Maharaj and said that you please somehow get me one soul who is lower than you. And you guys will get 1 week time to get your Guru Dakshina. And both of them offered their obeisances and said, Gurudev, thank you so much. We will be back soon with your Guru Dakshina. And after 1 week, they both came to Dronacharya and both of them came empty-handed. And Dronacharya said, what happened to my Guru Dakshina? So Yudhishthira started crying and said, Gurudev, I'm so sorry. I searched everywhere genuinely. And whomever I'm seeing, I see them better than me. I am not able to find anyone lower than me. I do not know. So please accept me as your gift, and I do not know whom else to give. So he turned towards Duryodhana and said, hey, what is your problem? Why you are empty-handed? Duryodhana said, Gurudev, I searched everywhere, and wherever I see everyone lower than me. I am the best. So Dronacharya said, don't worry guys, I will solve this problem right away. So he told Yudhishthira Maharaj, my dear Yudhishthira, the guy that you are searching for, one who is in lower consciousness than you, is standing right in front of you. You see, Duryodhana. And he turned towards Duryodhana and said, Duryodhana, the guy who is better than in your consciousness is standing right in front of you. That is Yudhishthira Maharaj. So this is very well known, established fact. But the point is, we don't want to accept some facts. That is what I was telling. Reality check. Sometimes we do not want to accept. We somehow say that we will overcome. Somehow we will say that we will cover up. I am looking ugly, but I do not want to present myself ugly. I am looking poor, but I do not want to pose myself as poor. I do not want some portion of the reality to be seen by others. I'm not saying we should open our Pandora's box and say that, how poor I am, how ugly I am, how dirty I am. But at least we ourselves should have a reality check and not over-conduct, over-present, be overconfident about ourselves. Spiritual life means it is meant for reality check. So when Sanjaya mentioned Gudakesha, he is communicating to Dhritarashtra that please, this person, Arjuna, is not an ordinary guy. And the second part of the second reflection is about us as the students of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. We need to learn to read between lines and behind lines. It is important not to just understand the technical information. It is to understand reasoning behind that. So whenever we read, that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told Sanatana Goswami in Madhya Leela, last chapter, in the Atma Ramasya Munayo, in that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned to Sanatana Goswami, my dear Sanatana, I have picked up just one verse of a Bhagavatam and analyzed them in 56, 64 different ways. And I wish every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is studied like that. So, with the help of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's students, we are able to study our Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma. All these courses are meant for such a study. And those study is important for us to scrutinizingly understand the content of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is extremely important that when we study Bhagavad Gita, we just not superficially, study them. Rather, we go into the depth. So when we read the verse, it is okay. Arjuna went to the war field, he just saw the people and move on. He could have gone ahead. But Prabhupada is trying to, go deeper inside the context and trying to reveal something. So our duty of studying Bhagavad Gita is to, or Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or any spiritual subject matter is to go deeper and try to understand the meaning behind as well as the emotions and the sentiments associated with that. This is my second reflection. And the third reflection is about a very nice point that Prabhupada is writing in verse number 25. So I will read the purport of 25. As the super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of the word Hrishikesha in this connection indicates that he knew everything. And the word Partha, meaning the son of Pritha or Kunti, is also similarly significant in the reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Pritha, the sister of his own father Vasudeva, he has agreed to be the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Did Arjuna want to stop there or not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt Pritha. The mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by the Lord in friendly joking. So, my third reflection is about how Krishna's heart, or Krishna, know about what happens in the mind of everyone. So this is also something that Sanjaya is trying to communicate, saying that number one, Arjuna is not an ordinary guy, and number two, even if for some reason Arjuna is going to be shaken up, Hrishikesa sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Hrishika Isa means master of senses. Whoever is on the side of Hrishikesha, they will never fail. So there are 3 points in this third reflection. Number one, Hrishikesha means those who have taken shelter of Hrishikesha, what happens to them? Sarva upadi vinirmuktam. Sarva upadi vinirmuktam tat paratyena nirmalam Hrishikena Hrishikesa sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Anyone who has taken the side of Hrishikesa, what happens? Sarva upadi vinirmuktam. All the upadis will go away. All the designations will go away. All the false identification will go away. We will become clean. And number two of this third reflection is that how when Krishna was jokingly saying, I know your heart, buddy. Okay, I'll take you there. See them around. I know your heart. You're going to shiver now. See that Krishna knew things, but at an appropriate time, he opens his cards. Guru know our heart, but at an appropriate time, they reveal things. Prabhupada knew his disciples, and he empowered each and every one of them according to their capabilities and strengths. Please don't underestimate. Please don't think that we are able to, intelligently, carefully cover ourselves. I'll tell you a small story here. There was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He did share this in Vrindavan in the year 2003. There was a 2002, 25th disappearance celebration of Srila Prabhupada. So this devotee, he had a habit of being attached to eating sweets. So he is so much fond of sweets, especially milk sweets and sandesh, that he couldn't control his urge to eat them. And sometimes he is so much in attraction towards such sweets, all the rules, regulations, place, time, situation, date, time, everything, he forgets. So one day, they had made wonderful sandesh for Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Maharani for a boga. So this Prabhu, he happened to notice that, and he couldn't control. Before even it was offered to Jagannath, he went inside the DT room, he stole the sandesh and ate them. The next day was his initiation. So during the initiation ceremony, there were 13 people in the initiation ceremony. So Prabhupada gave everybody, made them chant 4 regulative principles, take their vows. So when this Prabhu came, he gave the bead and said, your name is Jagat Chakshur Das, the Lord with the universal vision. The Lord sees every action of, the students. So Prabhupada, with a very big eyes, he said, please note, Krishna is watching every act of yours. So this Prabhu got so much shivering. He did share himself. So that was the last day I ever stole. I never touched any further, such boga inappropriately. So the point is that here Krishna is watching. Krishna is watching over us. You will see this in one of the verses in the later 5th or 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The very famous example Prabhupada gives about 2 birds sitting on the tree. One bird is eating the fruit, another bird is just sitting next to it. This example Prabhupada uses from Upanishad, Shvetasutra Upanishad, to explain how the jiva is engaged in worldly act, and a jiva is not turning his face towards Paramatma, who is sitting next to him, ready to extend all the help. So when explaining, it is very nicely explained that when the jiva turns towards the Lord, all his problem will be solved. But there is one word, additional, that Upanishad is explaining. It is not just we turn towards the Lord. We turn towards the Lord and also understand his glories. So it is not that we surrender to Krishna, asking him, Krishna, please give me my daily bread, cure my disease. It is also to understand the glories of the Lord. We need to know the glories of the Lord. That is why Krishikesha, Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, Govinda, we should know the glories of the Lord. Bhagavan ki gunagan karna chahiye. So hence, the second part of the third reflection I want to say is that Krishna knows our heart. The third part of the third reflection I want to say was that Krishna was smiling, joking, to say that guy, very soon the table is going to turn around. You are giving me instructions to go around. Very soon, the situation is going to be that I am going to take the teacher's seat. Even though right now I am the charioteer, I did this because you guys are very good. You are the side of Dharma and you are my family. Even though Krishna was already predicting what was coming his way, Krishna was not opening his mouth, opening his cards till an opportune moment. Please understand, spiritual life means we take the responsibility, we take the first step. Krishna will provide all the support system, Krishna will provide all the arrangements to motivate us, to inspire us to come out of our shell. But the decision on the first step will have to be taken by us. God helps those who help themselves. So Krishna was smiling, jokingly saying that, very soon things are going to be, coming our way. So he was kind of, was joking around. So, and the last part of today's reflection is about a very important part of the purport that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport 28. I will read that portion only and explain the fourth reflection, which will summarize the theme as Krishna as Bhakta Vatsala and to conclude our today's conversation. So this is 1.28 purport. Srila Prabhupada is writing. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It said, therefore, Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana Sarvair Gunais Tatra Samasate Suraha Hara Bhaktasya Kuto Mahadguna Manoratena Sati Dhavato Bahi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are little value. This is because he is hovering on a mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. So my fourth reflection is about the transcendental nature of Krishna consciousness. The transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord, what he bestows upon his dear devotees. Even though in the first reflection we saw one of the reasons for Arjuna not to fight was compassion. And that compassion which is eventually challenged by Krishna in a way, saying that you need to be compassionate, but please be clear how to be compassionate. So Krishna was not disagreeing with Arjuna's compassion, but Krishna was educating to Arjuna later how to be compassionate. But the fourth reflection that I want to say is the nature of Arjuna being a pure devotee. The nature of Arjuna being very concerned for all the jiva, para dukkha dukhi. When a person feels the same way as the Lord feels, the Lord immediately becomes dear to him. Because the Lord is feeling for all of us. It is not that Lord is angry or Lord is rejecting the demons, or Lord is even concerned for them. Lord is feeling that when will this guy, come back to me. So my fourth reflection is about the power of devotion. And in that I want to say two reflections. Number one, all the good qualities of a demigod will manifest in such a personality. Just by performing. What is the word? Bhagavati Akinchana. Akinchana means unalloyed. In third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 29, text number 11 and 12, Prabhupada writes a fantastic purport. In that purport, Prabhupada used three words: unmotivated, uninterrupted, and without cessation. In that, Prabhupada explains how in Krishna consciousness our devotion should be unmotivated, uninterrupted, and without cessation. And these three, when somebody performs, then the Lord becomes subservient to such a person. I'll tell a small story. What happened was, there was a devotee in Dakshin Bharat by name Kanik Kannan. He is a disciple of one of the 12 Alvars by name Tirumalizai Alvar. So this Kanik Kannan, what happened was, he was very famous for his poetry. He writes very wonderful poetry. He writes very nice songs. So one day, the story is long, but I'll just go to the context. So one day, the king called Kanikannan over to his palace and asked Kanikandan, can you please recite a song? I was hearing about your glories. Kanikandan said he sang a song glorifying the Supreme Lord. So the king said, why don't you sing a similar one glorifying me? Kanikandan said, I would not do that, because these words are not artificial. These words are natural. These words are coming out of the emotions that I have for the Supreme Lord, and I cannot, sing something for you like this. So the king became upset and said, okay, if that is the case, you have to leave my kingdom. If you are disobeying my order, you have to leave my kingdom. Kanikandan said, all right, sir, no problem. I will leave my kingdom. I will leave your kingdom. So he was leaving. Before leaving, he went to his spiritual master, Tirumazhi Alvar, and said, my dear Gurudev, I've been asked to go, so I'm leaving. So the spiritual master said, when you are such a nice devotee, you are being rejected or thrown out from the kingdom, what duty, what value do I have to stay back in this kingdom? I will also walk with you. So Tirumazhi Alvar said, I will also come along with you and we will leave the kingdom. And in the front, Kanikandan was going, behind Tirumazhi Alvar was going. Then he suddenly stopped and said, he went to the temple and there was a Lord lying on his snake bed. So he told the Lord, my disciple is going, I am going, what business do you have in this kingdom? Come, roll your, mat, Ananda Sesha, and come. So the Lord, what he did, he immediately got up, rolled Ananda Sesha, kept him on his hand, and started walking behind Tirumazhi Alvar. So Kanikandan is going, Tirumazhi Alvar is going, and behind that Narayana is also going. So the whole province, when the Lord leaves, so much anomalies, so much disturbance came up, and everybody said that it's because the Lord left. So they all ran to the king and said, my dear Raja, please, somehow we should, stop this. We should get him back. So the Raja, realizing his mistake, he went and offered forgiveness. He said, please forgive me and, please come back to Kanikandan. And Kanikandan said, okay, Raja, I will come. When he agreed to come, then Tirumazhi Alvar also came. When the Alvar also came, the Lord also came. And when they came back to, this is a place in Kanchipuram. I'm not sure if you all have visited this place. So if you come back in Kanchipuram, the Lord came back and now Alvar said, okay, now you can go and lie down. The Lord went in and lied down back in his Ananda Sesha. If you all know Tamil, the name of the deity is called Sonna Vannam Seida Perumal, which means he does as he has been told by his devotee. The devotee says, get up, he gets up. He says, sit, he sits. Sleep, he sleeps. The reason I'm saying this pastime is, that is the bonding of Krishna and his dear devotees. If somebody is performing, here Arjuna and Krishna has got such a bonding. So even though Arjuna was talking little meaningless, little senseless, Krishna is still with him. Krishna is going to take him throughout this entire journey, enable him, glorify him, keep him in the topmost position, and eventually, tell all the whole world that Arjuna is not an ordinary guy. With his help, you are all getting Bhagavad Gita. Because Arjuna chose to be confused, we are all getting Bhagavad Gita. So I want to conclude saying that Krishna is very special. The way he is Bhaktavatsala, the way he is protector of his devotees, the way he is stand by his devotees is amazing. And you are going to see the future verses in how all the ways Krishna is going to slowly, systematically, organically, scientifically establish the science of spirituality and establish dharma. And this is all meant for us to get our reality check done and get ourselves fixed. So these 4 reflections were all meant to summarize this current 9 verses. So the first reflection was about the 5 reasons why Arjuna did not want to fight. The second reflection was about the Gudakesha point, why Gudakesha was referred and how Arjuna being referred as Gudakesha is very appropriate in this context. The third reflection was about the point of Hrishikesha, how Krishna being Hrishikesha is very appropriate and relevant for each and every one of us to cross over. And last but not least, how the Lord, he is very kind and personal, and he is subservient to his devotees. He rewards all the good qualities for those people who have just taken up devotional life. They don't need to do separate endeavor for them. Rather, how much ever good qualities somebody have, they are not going to make it till they are at the side of the Supreme Lord. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If there are any questions or comments or any corrections, I'll be happy to respond. I hope I did justice to the verses here. If not, I'll be ready to take any feedback. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very nicely explain all the 9 verses with your realizations, enumerating all these reflections that you can have possibly. And so nice, deep explanation of the verses. So nice. Thank you, Prabhuji. So we'll take some questions from the devotees now. So Amit Prabhuji, are you taking the questions?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful lecture, and especially the reflections which you said and with the reasons. So those are most valuable things for the today's class. So Prabhuji, shall we take a couple of questions now?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Radhe Govinda Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanpat Pranam, Prabhuji, thank you so much for such wonderful explanation on the verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhuji, I had this question, like the last story which you shared of the Krishna was following the instructions of the devotee. So can you please tell me where exactly is the temple situated, and can you please pardon the name of the deity?
The temple is situated in Kanchipuram. There is a place near Kanchipuram. The name of the deity is Sonna Vannam Seida Perumal. It's a Tamil name. Sonna means as it is being told. Seida means done. So this is very close to, it's pretty much in Kanchipuram. Kanchipuram is a place very close to Chennai. So if you ever visit Chennai, Kanchipuram, it is very close to Ramanujacharya's birthplace called Sri Perumbudur and Kanchipuram. Kanchipuram is where Lord Varadaraj and recently Atti Varadar, all of those world fame deities. So this particular temple is in the same locality.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranams. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Any other devotee has any questions? This last call. If anybody has any questions, please do not hesitate to raise your hands. I think probably everybody understand the question, lecture today, the class topic, and the realization reflections which you has spoken today. All was like milking with the your you can say that experiences as well as the pastimes spoken by his holiness that Srila Prabhupada, Acharya Srila Prabhupada. So I think you milking those things very well, and everybody understood. So Harila Prabhu, if you allow, shall we wind up the call?
Yes, Prabhuji. So at this point, we would like to close your Zoom platform and request all the devotees. Let us.
Hare.
Haribol. Okay. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो। चलो प्रभुपाद की जय। इस रामगिरधारी प्रभु जी की जय।
जय।
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a very nectarian session today. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Pranam, Prabhuji.